Hello class, this is Mom Says signing on. This video lecture teaches you some of the basic in Excel formatting. So let's begin. Excel has a bunch of different formats for numbers, currency, dates, and times. Some of them are particularly confusing, especially dates and times, but I'm going to show you the basics of these different formatting options that are available in Excel. Before I get started with some specific examples, I wanted to just show you where and how you can access these different formatting options. Look at your screen here. As you can see, here in the Home tab in the number group, you've got this general drop-down menu. This is where you can find all of the different types of formatting options, but there's a lot more. If you go down here to the bottom, more number formats, it brings up this format cells box. You can get the same format cells box by right-clicking anywhere and going down here to format cells. So let me just go through some of the more popular formats for different cells in Excel. First of all, you can just type in a label like this. You can type in numbers here. If I just type in 8.23, that's going to be recognized as number. Numbers are right-centered and text is left-centered. If you wanted to specifically specify cell C5 as a number, you can go in here and specify as a number. You can also decrease and increase the decimal of a number by going up here and using this increase decimal and decrease decimal command buttons. So I could decrease, for example, to get it to 8.2, or maybe all you want to show is the ones digit there, which is 8. So I can increase the decimal by clicking to the left. We can also put in really big numbers, 34,872, for example. The default of that is not to have commas, but if you want commas, you can always go ahead and click the comma style. When you do that, it added those two trailing zeros, and let's just go ahead and decrease the decimal because we don't have any information there. So depending upon what your application is, you can tailor the different numbers however you want. There's also percentages. If you put in a fraction like 0.54 and you want to convert that to a percentage, you can go ahead and click up here percentage, and that's 54%. There's a scientific notation in here. For some of you might be working with really big numbers. We can go ahead and convert it by using this drop-down list to scientific notation. It always gives you a preview there. So if I click on scientific, it will be 3.49 E plus 0.4. So some of you know what the E is. I would encourage you to play around with some of these different formatting options. Another one is currency, and that's typically used by business and finance folks. So if I had $10.54 in there, if you wanted to make this currency, you could click up here on currency. There's also accounting, so I'm going to go ahead and click on currency. Currency and accounting are very similar. If I click on this and assign this dollar sign, that makes it accounting. Accounting puts the dollar sign all the way to the left. Let's make this currency and see how the dollar signs don't line up. If we put in another item, maybe here at $1.23, and we make that accounting, then the dollar signs line up and it always makes the decimal points line up. Also, we can have negative $5.43 if I convert that to currency, but in accounting, if you have a negative number, negative $67.12, and we can convert that to accounting, then it always puts the negative value in parentheses. So negative dollar amounts in accounting are enclosed with parentheses. Just some other miscellaneous formats. If you wanted to specify a fraction in a cell, we could right click on there and you could format cells. Or you could go up here to fraction, and now it's formatted as a fraction, and so I could just type in like 1/3 and it gives it as a fraction. You notice up here on the formula bar, it actually interpreted as a decimal number. You've got to be careful with fractions because if I put in 1/3, that actually is interpreted to mean January 3rd, and this brings up the date formats. So date formats are quite confusing to use. If you go up here, you can select short date, so I can convert January 3rd into something known as a short date. You can also convert that into a long date, and it adds the day on there. So if you didn't know what day of the week a particular date was going to be, you can always do what I just did. So let's say, what is April 3rd of 2020 going to be? You can do that, and then you can convert this to a long date and it will tell you. So that's going to be Friday. You also notice that when I type into a cell the date, so let's say it's January 27th, it's automatically converts it to January 27th of the current year. So I didn't put in the 2020, but the current year is 2020, so it does that. If you just want it to leave it as a label, you can always precede it with an apostrophe. So if I did 1 over 27 with that little apostrophe before it, it always interprets it as text and it centers to the left. So that's how you can force a label by using the apostrophe in Excel. These are actually interpreted internally by Excel as serial numbers or numbers. So let's go back to the guest. So my Friday, April 3rd, 2020, if we convert that up here to a number, you see that this is known as a serial number. And I'm going to just go ahead and just decrease the decimal there starting on January 1st, 1900. And that receives the serial number of 1. So, for example, if I put in 11900, I could either convert it to a number or there's a number value formula. January 1st, 1900 has a serial number of 1. So April 3rd of 2020 has a serial number 43,924. So there have been 43,924 days since January 1st, 1900. But we generally do not work with the serial numbers as date. So I'm going to go ahead and convert this back to, let's just do a short date. Time is also interesting in Excel. I can put in 634. If you just put in 634 and I go here and you look up here at the formula here above at the formula bar, it's storing it as a custom time and it interpreted to be 6:34 a.m. If you want to specify if it is AM or PM, let's just do 5:45 and you can type in P or PM. If you just do P, it will interpret it as 5:45 PM. And that is the function now with empty parentheses. This gives us the date and time. If I convert this, if I use the number value function for this, or if you convert that just to a number, you end up with a serial number. This 0.64 is telling as a fraction of the day. So right now it's about, and that is some formatting using the Microsoft Excel, the formatting in the formats, the dates, time, numbers, dates, and time. And so I would strongly encourage you to just get in there and experiment around yourself with these different formatting options. That's the best way to learn about all the formatting options that are available to you in Excel. So it depends on the whatever type of the version, versions of Microsoft Excel do you have. Okay, so just keep on exploring and be patient with yourself. You can still discover a lot more about formatting for numbers, dates, and time. Thanks for watching.